Oftentimes, climate change is associated with physical alterations, and as people, we have a greater appreciation for impacts on tangible things, which we can feel and touch. Those physical changes almost always come with social impacts, including displacement of communities and the threatening of intangible cultural heritage. But what does that mean?
When we think about culture, we don't want to just preserve it and leave it there and keep it at a constant. Culture changes and it has continuity. So we want to be stewards of culture and heritage. We want to safeguard, safe, protect, secure for continuity of culture. And that's kind of what we are aiming for. As Belizeans, we are all bearers of culture and heritage. We all have somewhere where we belong, or this beautiful blend, mixed, magical blend that we have in Belize. Culturally, we're Belizeans. Ethnically, you can be Creole, Mestizo, Garifuna, Tekche, Katek, and culturally, we all share that as Belizeans.
There are those who are considered stewards of the environment and carry a wealth of knowledge in areas of health as it relates to remedies and best practices. And then there's music and food. These advocates speak of the roles they play in preserving their intangible cultural heritage.
Well, I've been involved in cultural advocacy all my life and formally got engaged with niche at the beginning of the development of the cultural policy. So I was part of the team that advocated for traditional healing systems to be integrated into the policy. Okay. So I have expanded to other aspects, wellness and documenting Garifuna culture, okay, documenting the spirituality.
All cultures eat these foods.
Okay.
They might prepare it differently, right? But it's grown all over Belize, Central America, and sometimes even the world. You could find all of them. So it was very difficult for me, being a young adult, continue eating these foods. So I knew in my mind that I had to prepare myself to continue having this available for myself, okay, and for my children.
An intra-regional project between the Caribbean and the Pacific to safeguard living heritage, such as oral traditions, music, folklore, and traditional knowledge in times of emergencies, including disasters such as hurricanes, erosion, and rising sea levels.
Essentially, what we are saying is that communities have knowledge that are passed on mostly through word of mouth, but also through practices from generation to generation. And in order for that continuity to be there needs to be an enabling environment.
We've lost a lot of knowledge over the years. Hurricanes, all of the practitioners, bearers during Hurricane Hati, Hurricane 31, all of those people that could have continued to teach and for us to know and understand who we are as a people. So that is what we mean by safeguarding or stewarding living heritage in the midst of an emergency or natural disaster.
And so a database has been created to catalog the intangible heritage of these cultural groups and their unique practices and use of natural resources that are threatened by climate change. UNESCO Global Facilitator to Belize, Nigel Encolada, says that the goal is to build resilience and recovery from a disaster.
You take an inventory, just like how you inventory buildings and other items, you inventory your intangible heritage. So one of the goals is if people have to move, they move with the culture. The culture moves with them, and then even states and communities can be places that accommodate for that. Right? So this is how culture should be viewed. It's not a thing about suppressing how people live and view the world and experience the world, but trying to facilitate how people interact with the environment in terms of how they know how, no?
And so the work continues to safeguard the intangible cultural heritage from the impacts of climate change. This story is published with the support of the Caribbean Climate Justice Journalism Fellowship, which is a joint venture between Climate Tracker and Open Society Foundations.